Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special episode of Radio Free Professional Wrestling. Is I, Sean, along with my original co-host, David the Smart Mark, and we're here to preview Progress Chapter 166, Freedom Walks again, as we are wishing you a happy WrestleMania week. And David, we're playing at WrestleMania week.
We are, and you know what? For once, this grumpy old man is looking forward to WrestleMania and the week and the surrounding, some of the surrounding stuff. It's been a long time coming because the WWE have actually done a decent build, but hopefully you'll invite me back to get the opportunity at some point in one of your WrestleMania shows to give my four penneth and give the grumpy balance.
Well, you know what? You're more than happy to join us later this week for our WrestleMania preview, but we are here to preview Progress Chapter 166, Freedom Walks Again. David, you were the one that introduced me to Progress Wrestling about 3 years ago. It was in the middle of the pandemic era of professional wrestling, and you kept talking about one gentleman, Car Noir. You were saying, Sean, you need to go watch this gentleman. He's a heck of a wrestler. Progress Wrestling is some dang good wrestling. So I took you up on your word. I watched one episode one Saturday, and that's all it took. One episode, one chapter got me hooked to Progress Wrestling. And for you lovely people who are going to Philadelphia for WrestleMania week, I would advise you to check out Progress Wrestling. This is the first time they're back in the United States since 2019. And this card, which we're going to preview, is pretty dang good, I got to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my full penneth on it, which may slightly differ from yours. What I would agree with you with is the matches are good. There's just I'm going to talk about the booking of them. But as concerns, if you've never seen a Progress card before, in that respect, yeah, they've put some of the top talent from the show together, so people can see these individuals and how good they actually are.
And for you people who cannot go to Philadelphia, you can catch this card on Filler TV Plus on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. British Summer Time. And the cool thing about Filler TV is they're doing a week free preview you can sign up for. And this is the best week to do it because you get so many dang shows.
Yeah, I mean, I as a wrestling fan in the UK who likes the indies above and beyond the two major companies, well, no, actually the one major company with the WWE, I get all my AEW work on Thriller. I get everything that I need, including British companies, including German companies. There's all sorts on there, something for everyone, but Progress is actually on it this time, whereas it's rather than it being on their own on-demand channel, which is again I'm going to have my full penneth about because you've given me the opportunity, young sir.
Well, if you want to go back and look at the back catalog of Progress Wrestling, you can do that at Demand Progress Plus. And I gotta say, they have upped their game since the previous business they were doing with another company with their live streaming is so much better now, and it's well worth your $9 American every month.
The beauty of it is, for me, Sean, is the back catalogue. The biggest name in world wrestling, even going into WrestleMania weekend, is Will Ospreay. You can see where Ospreay became the New Japan wrestler. Zack Sabre Jr.'s in the early chapters. There's so many big stars before they were stars, if you will, on the early shows. The big one for me is the Brixton Academy show for the very, very first time. There is depending on your viewpoint of him, there is a lot of Jimmy Havoc early doors. But, I'm not going to say that, he was a huge role-defying character for this company. But the thing I've got with it, you haven't got an app. You have to get it online. You have to get Progress Plus on or demand Progress Plus online, and then to get it on a big screen here in the UK, you have to cast. So you have to be able to pay for the app. The app itself is not expensive, as Sean has said, but then you have to cast onto a telly if you want to watch it on a big screen.
Now, that's a fair point, but in this age of 2024 and all our internet technology, not the harder thing to do, my friend.
Yeah, no, I agree. There should be a full blown app, but you have to go online. And the way I watch the shows, although fair play to them, they are now, if you pay for this service, the Demand Progress Plus, certainly here in the UK, I'm going to presume it's the same for you guys in the good old US. You can watch the shows, particularly the Electric Ballroom ones, which are, the atmosphere is good in there. You can watch them live. They're streamed live now, which they've never done before. So fair play to them for that. I've got to give them credit for that.
Well, I got it too, because that's how I saw the last world title match between Spike Trevay and Kid Lycos. It was the second time they had a steel cage match. I was literally at work, David, on my lunch break, and I was able to pull my phone out and watch that match on lunch. And I was like, thank you,
Yeah,
Progress, for streaming this live, because David, you know how many times I want to come on the show and just go like, hey, I want to see the practices of Progress, but I had to wait 2 weeks because I had to wait for it to come on the on demand service. And that live
yeah,
stream is just a game changer now.
yeah. I'd agree with that. It's something that's long, long overdue. And if they could just sort out and either get their own app or get their app onto, say, Roku, whatever your streaming services it will make, it will just be that. And for me, it will just be that next step of where they want to be. They are, along with Rev Pro now. You can't count ICW in Glasgow. I'm really, really sorry, but them, the Progress and Rev Pro, and I would say most American proper wrestling fans, proper, what a horrible phrase, but you know what I mean, have heard of Rev Pro. You've got Rev Pro and Progress, and they are now the two biggest British companies going, and Philadelphia originally. Even though I don't agree with some of this booking here, and I'll go into that as we discuss it, Philadelphia are going to get a treat, because if they can also put half the audience as Brits as well, who will be over for Mania, the atmosphere in there is going to be off the hook.
Okay, so for you people who haven't experienced Progress yet, it's a mix of British strong style with Japanese fighting spirit and a dash of Lucha Libre. It's something for everybody. I feel like I haven't seen a card yet from Progress where I went, wait a minute, there's not a match on here that I enjoyed. I ain't seen a bad Progress card.
The only thing I would drop if I was booking Progress is the comedy matches, and it's something we're going to go on to because there's a comedy match on this card. There was one individual that I would sack instantly, but you know that, and you know what's coming. They for some reason want to carry on the British tradition of comedy wrestling. We unfortunately, as much as we gave you Dynamite Kid, we gave the world Mark Rollerball, Rocco, etc. We also gave, we did the comedy, and people like Regal get it and can do it right. People like Les Kelly. If you've ever listened to this show in the early days when I was regular with Shawn, you know Les Kelly is one of my ultimate heroes. He did comedy right because he was also genuinely a hard bloke. But Progress seemed to want to do comedy, and it doesn't work for them. It really doesn't. But I'll go on to that.
Well, let's go ahead and look at this card for everybody who's watching us and listening to us on our podcast. We will start out with the first match that I'm going to bring up to you. And it may be the match you're talking about. Allow me to do this.
Of course.
Well, let's skip that one and we'll go here. Why don't we go to the Progress Atlas Championship? It's Ricky Knight Jr. versus Yoshi. Ricky Knight Jr. from the Knight family. This should be a fun match, and I feel like the champion should retain here, David. What do you say?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I love Ricky Knight Jr., always have done, but I'm a big fan of the Knight family. Having met the patriarch a few times, I'm still scared of Soraya. That's the mother, by the way. You got a brief glimpse of her at Wembley. It was a genuinely scary woman. But yeah, Ricky Knight retains. He's like anything. Anyone who comes from that family, that they know what they're doing inside the squared circle.
David, how would you define the Atlas Championship? I find it as the closest example I can give you is like the TNA exhibition title. It's kind of like a no limits, no weight class kind of title.
I think when they first said it's become that, I would agree with that. It's become that when they first set it up. You cast your mind back to people like Big Damo were in the group. You had Rampage Brown in the group that were competing. It was meant as almost like they had the chant "Big Boys Wrestling" instead of now this pathetic meat chant that it seems that AEW were responsible for worldwide. It was meant for the bigger boys, but you're right in the way that it's evolved. And it's a cross between, you summed it up with the introduction to Progress itself. It's a cross between British strong style, weight irrelevant, size irrelevant, and Japanese hard hitting fighting spirit. You've already nailed it. I would say it's somewhere between those two stools.
Okay, so let's go on to this match as we bring up. This is the match that you may be saying you're not looking forward to. It's a Progress World Tag Team title match. Now, Cheeky Little Buggers 3 chapters ago beat the Smoking Aces, one of your beloved tag teams, for the titles.
Yeah.
And has, in the last 2 episodes, had 2 title defenses. They're coming into their most challenging title defense yet, as they got Sanity and the longest reigning Progress Tag Team Champions, Sunshine Machine, as their challengers. David, when I first looked at this card, I was going like, Cheeky Little Buggers versus Sanity. I'm going with the big boys of Sanity to get these titles off of them.
I would love that to happen, Sean. It won't, because it's really it's what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's this show. There might be a title change in it, but I really can't see any title changes in it. If there is going to be one, it will be this match. I would say. I would hazard a guess that it will be this match. But this is almost like an enhancement show for the company. In that it's going to have North American eyes on it. People know the company, but they don't know necessarily the product. So hopefully they're going to watch. And like you've said, and the matches are good. Sanity should be, if it wasn't Smoking Aces, Sanity should be the tag team titles holders all day long. You've got 2 well-known European guys who've, shall we say, messed around with the WWE. They've had a little go at it, and unfortunately, certainly in Damo's case, I think he's been really badly treated. That said, however, they should hold the titles. There's a name in there, and it would be good for them to go over. Sunshine Machine, I've got no major problem with. Again, they're very popular. Both wrestlers are very popular. Original Progress talents. Chuck Mambo and TK. Obviously, TK was part of a previous tag team that he had to leave through visa and other issues. And pairing him with Chuck Mambo was a good decision because they're both popular with the crowd. They're both over and they both got their own style. Cheeky Little Buggers, I'm not totally enamored with. And this is a typical Progress move. We're going to be different. We're going to put the titles on a different style of team rather than the obvious team, which in this case would have been Smoking Aces or Sanity. Sanity for me, I hope you're right. I don't think you are.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Now, like you said, Cheeky Little Buggers have grown on me in the last 3 chapters. When they first beat the Smoky Aces, I kind of had my jaw on the floor going like, wow. But Alessa Falcon and Charles Clowney have grown on me. They are a cute little couple. They are a good thing. I think could be a fun tag team down the road here for Progress. And if you haven't experienced Sunshine Machine live, their entrance and their interaction with the crowd is going to get Philadelphia started.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. Now, it's interesting you said what you said about Alexis Falcon and Charles Crowley. I think they've made Cheeky Little Buggers because, quite simply, Charles Crowley, if you don't know, look back. Charles Crowley has principally, most of his time in Progress, been a heel. But he's not got over as a heel. He's got over as a face. It's what I would call AEW syndrome. Almost Swerve syndrome, if you like. He's gone out and been the biggest heel possible and become a face. Because the crowd like him. And the crowd are not going to boo someone they actually like. Don't get me wrong. It's not. He's not getting dead heat. He's not getting bad heat. He's not getting a crap face reaction. He's getting a reaction. He's popular. But that's why I don't think that's one of the reasons I don't think it works. I think Crowley has got a future as a potential singles wrestler within the company.
You know, David, I agree with you. I did enjoy his heel run where he was kind of like the center of the universe, kind of like trying to find his own spiritual path, and he just scared the bejesus out of me. Now, you talk about heat. You're saying heat. Allow us to introduce you to the most hated man on the planet, Spike Trevay, as he's going to face Northwest Strong Luke Jacobs. Now, David here is one of the few people on the planet who is upset that the Lord and Savior of professional wrestling and Progress Wrestling, Spike Trevay, is no longer the Progress World Champion.
Oh, don't
This is
even...
a tough draw for Spike.
Oh, yeah, it is. And this is what I said about the book. Right, okay. This match will be brilliant. No two ways about it. This match will be brilliant, but it's thoughtless booking. You've got two of your biggest stars. Spike, let's put some context to this because Progress haven't. Spike is your former world champion, one of the longest, if not, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the badger here, Sean, the longest Progress world champion of all time?
I don't think all time, but he did have a 547-day reign. It was close.
There you go. He is one of the best heels in world wrestling, bar none. Bar none. He'd rival MJF with his mic work. That's the biggest compliment I can pay him. He would rival MJF with his mic work. Now, all right, every title holder's got to lose the title at some point. Okay? I do not, in any way, shape, or form, agree that he should have dropped Kid Lycos. We're going to talk about Kid Lycos in a bit. Because Kid Lycos is a 90-pound matchstick. Irrelevant of his talent, he just does not look or carry himself like a world champion. And hopefully wrestling fans will understand what I mean. It's not a criticism of him. It's not a criticism whether he deserves it or whether he's good enough or all of that. Your world champion must carry themselves like a world champion. And to me, Spike did. And he was a brilliant heel. Now, brings me on to Luke Jacobs. Luke Jacobs, Northwest Strong, is wonderful. He is nails. He is a big, tough Mancunian. He shouldn't be fighting Spike, even if they're going to go out and give a demonstration of everything good about Progress. Because one of them, unless they're going to do really, really stupid shenanigans, has got to lose. And it doesn't do either of them a favour. You know, what are they going to do? Take a 540-day world champion on a losing streak? What are they going to do? Put one of their best young talents on a losing streak? There's nowhere to go with this for me, apart from give a demonstration of both their abilities. And also, I think Spike's going to turn quasi-face as well. I got a funny idea Spike's going to turn slightly. You know how this day and age, we never had them when me and you first started watching wrestling. You have heel, it's just a heel or face. In this day and age, you can have in between us. Prime example are Joe, Swerve in AEW. Even Drew now in WWE, I would say, is an in-betweener. But anyway, by the by, we've got those, to come on to. I like this match, but if it had some build, if it had some context, if it had some reasoning, I'd be happier. It'll probably steal the show. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, it will probably steal the show and be the best match on the card because it's two of the biggest talents on the card. But I don't like the booking or the decision to do it.
Well, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most. This because I know both gentlemen and how they work in the ring. And I'm expecting this to, like you said, steal the show. Now, let's slide over to the Progress World title match because we've been beating around the bush with it. It's Kid Lycos versus Man Like Doris. This would be a fine match. Now, Kid Lycos has gone on this journey over the past 9 to 12 months where he's the unlikely hero in this story for Progress Wrestling. We had Spike Trevay, this big, nasty heel, defeat the beloved Cara Noir inside of the steel cage for the first time in Progress history, and he went on a massive winning streak. Nobody could beat Spectre Bay, especially because he had help from his little crew every single time he had a title match. And here's Kid Lycos. He won the Super Strong Style 16, got his first title match against Spike. Spike cheated to win. Spike offers him a rematch, but in this case, you got to put your mask on the line. Yet again, Kid Lycos got shortchanged. He was a gentleman. He provided by the honors of the rules. He removed his mask. He went into the Thunder Bastard. He was the last person standing in that match, got another title shot. And Spectre Bay goes like, fine, you do have another title shot, but we're going to play on my rules inside a freaking steel cage. Now, that was the hubris of Spectre Bay, and I feel like that cost him his Progress World title.
I love you. I've missed you so much. You are such a badger. And I mean that with the hugest compliment. What an intro into this match. And it doesn't actually deserve it. Again, I'm going to refer you to my previous statement with the previous match. Obviously, Lycos is going to retain here. Man like Desiris, what a stupid name for such a talented bloke. Very, very talented bloke, part of the 0121 team. Looks the part. And out of the two, when you see them in the ring, you'll think, well, hang on, he surely is the world champion. But he isn't. And my only big, Lycos is talented. Don't get me wrong, please, please, please. Don't get me wrong, Lycos is a talented kid. No pun intended. But he should not be ever near the World Championship. He's got to be upper mid-card at best because of his size. It's got nothing to do with his ability. You as a company want to go where you want to go. You're in Philadelphia, Wrestlemania weekend, with what will be one of the shows of the weekend outside of the actual main events. And you're presenting a 99-pound matchstick as your world champion. I'm sorry, Shawn. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned. Maybe I'm too traditional. I don't know. Doesn't work for me. And that is not down crying Lycos as a talent. It really, really isn't. You should have either kept it on Spike, given it to Doriras, put Luke Jacobs on. There's so many. Even Damo. Christ, Damo. You go in the ring with Damo. What a person to present as your world champion. If Damo's wrestling regularly now for Progress and can spare the time to be the ambassador that Progress need as a world champion, which Spike Bay, as we both know, did hilariously as a heel, and his promos are top notch. I'm sorry, I can't take Lycos seriously as a world champion, even though he's a talent. So please, I'm trying to be balanced here.
Well, in his defense, in Kid Lycos' defense, he had one hell of a match versus Carnival for the Progress World title a few years ago. You remember this one? He comes out fully in Carnival's entrance with a mask half white, half black. They had a great match. At the end of it, Carnival walks over to the down Kid Lycos, flips the mask over to the dark side of the mask. And after the match, Kid Lycos put that mask up for charity, auctioned it off. And that's when I became a Kid Lycos fan.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't argue with any of that. I'm not questioning the geezer's talent here, mate. I'm not questioning his ability in the ring, his ability to put on a good match. This match will be good. No question. For me, Lycos retains, obviously, because I can't take it off him really so quickly. I just, no. He's not a world champion. I am a traditionalist. Your world champion must be, if you like, a Flair, a Bruno. Jesus, I can't believe I'm going to say this, even Hogan. And you look recently at MJF. MJF was a brilliant world champion for AEW. Roman Reigns. To me, Roman Reigns isn't the best wrestler in the world, but by God, he looks like a world champion. You know, even Brian, you know, it's one for you, Ash. Even Bryan Danielson looks like a world champion. Carries himself like a world champion. Lycos doesn't. And that is my major beef over this, particularly coming off Spike.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Women's World Championship match. This should be a little more to your liking. Hang on a second. I should have it. Okay, so the Progress Women's World Title match is Rio versus Alana Austin. Now, if you haven't seen Rio wrestle, she is. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. She's holding two of the biggest prizes in British wrestling right now: the ICW Women's Championship and the Progress Women's Championship at the same freaking time. This lady reminds me of Jazz and Jacqueline put together from the WWF days.
Great analogy, Sean. Great analogy and a truthful one. Now, I'm going to go a little bit bolder than that. I think Rio is the best female European wrestler ever produced. So you can.
I think she's the best kept secret.
You can stick your Becky Lynch's, even Saraya, who at one point was a brilliant, was a fine example of British wrestler. Jamie Hayter, great example of a British female wrestler. I'll go with European because Rio, how AEW have not picked her up. I would sell my house to see her versus Jamie Hayter for the AEW World title. World Women's title, and you mark my words, that be a match. I am very, very critical of women's wrestling, not because I'm sexist, not because I don't like them, but I want it to work. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Even some of the biggest female stars we've got in this business today that are multimillionaires, it's commonly known my feelings on Becky Lynch on this, and that I could sit and qualify over and over again. There are very few. I mean, I feel sorry for people like Charlotte. But anyway, by the way, let's get back to the point because otherwise I'll get angry again. Rio versus Lana Austin. Lana Austin is a very, very good performer and talent herself. This could easily be the second match of the night. I am so looking forward to seeing this. It's untrue. You're right. You know I would be as well.
You are right, because Lana Austin is the perfect foil to Rio here. And Progress, if you're listening to me, please, by God, do not let Lana Austin sing the national anthem. Please, no. I know she thinks she kind of lost Eurovision last year. We do not want to hear her sing the Star Spangled Banner. No.
I do. I do. Dear America, dear Philadelphia, you'll love it. She's got a lovely voice.
You're going to say that she has a voice of an angel. I can see it on your face right now. Lana Austin has a voice of an angel.
You know they're going to do it, Sean.
I got a feeling. And that's probably why I'm going to tune in just for this. This is see her do this and just get that crowd riled up.
Mate, it's going to be brilliant. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that, man. I just love watching Rio per se. Lana Austin is a talent. She's a great heel. And this is the sort of thing that reinforces my viewpoint of women's wrestling. When it's done right, it's good. But when, unfortunately, due to many, many reasons, when it's done badly, it does not do the whole thing any favors. But this will be top draw.
Exactly, David. Okay, so the one match we haven't talked to yet about is G Money and Cesar Martinez facing the GCW team of Boozy. I gotta say, going into this match, the last couple chapters of Progress, G Money's been talking about having this partner who can't show up for the chapter. Now Martinez fight's been canceled a couple of times, so now the third time it's a charm. I gotta say, this is gonna be a fun, comedy-filled match, and G Money's gonna win.
Right, let's get it out there. I cannot stomach any way, shape, or form G Money. I just he's a guy who thinks he's funny and he isn't. He's a guy who thinks he can wrestle. He can't. He doesn't look like a wrestler. The accent, he does not do I don't know why Progress like him, because he doesn't do him any favours. But the audience like him, the marks down in London like him, so he gets on. Now, out of this, I love Moth Martina. Really, really always have done. Something about her, she's got huge charisma, huge character. She's lost a bit, and again, I'm not being, she's just stating the fact. She's lost a bit of weight. She looks good. She's good in the ring. And then you got Boosie, who now I've got a confession to make, Sean. I've watched a lot of GCW. I've watched a lot of GCW lately. And I think that Boosie will win this. I think Boosie will go over. To give a little bit of balance in the card, so not all the Progress talent goes over. And to be fair, the reason why, if Jean and Martina lose, it's not going to damage them. Whereas, obviously, my thoughts with the Spike and Luke match, as good as that will be and as good as that looks, someone could get harmed in their booking with a loss in that. In this case, putting Boosie over won't hurt Jean Money or Session Martina. That's just my take.
No, I mean, that's a fair point. I feel like both of them can handle a loss here. And since Game Changer Wrestling is hosting the collective and Progress is part of this collective working during WrestleMania week, I do believe that you're right. And this might be where Progress goes to them, go like, hey, we'll put your people over in this match. But still, this would be a fun, entertaining match to get the crowd kind of come down from maybe a world title match or something. It'll be in there in the middle somewhere. But when I was looking at it, it's a 2.5 hour card. It's from like 3 to 5:30.
Yeah.
Find it. I'm going to have the link to the tickets in our show notes here so you guys can click on there and get your tickets. I would get your tickets in a hurry before midweek, because you're going to be sitting in line. You're going to be sitting in line at WrestleMania trying to get in there. And a lot of people are going to be talking about the show. They're going to be talking about Rio. Like, did you see this lady, Rio? She's a damn good wrestler. You want to be that person in that line talking about that. Luke Gates, that's another person. A lot of people go like, wow, I just found me a new favorite professional wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I don't agree with you the fact that this match is going to be fun. I think this match is going to suck, and it's going to suck a big hard one. But that's another story. That's just my opinion, and that's what I'm here for. However, for me, that was a quietly positive. That was a quietly positive podcast for me, or a positive review. There will be some good stuff on this, ladies and gentlemen. Please get your eyes on it, because as Sean said, Sean actually nailed it with that last statement, in that you're going to be in a queue and people are going to be talking about this card, and you're going to want to know what they're on about. Certainly look out for Ricky Knight Jr., the Spike Trevay and Luke Jacobs. They are, and Rio is just wonderful. You'll know her because she comes out, and the analogy. What was it you said? Jazz and who?
Okay, Jacqueline and Jazz put together. I mean, like, she's okay. She is built. She looks like a menace, and she doesn't get paid by the hour. She gets paid by the victory.
And her stuff is convincing. She lays it in. You're like, oh, that's kind of smart. That's not. They're not. She's not playing games. You're right, and they've used that. Because I've converted you a little bit. You know that they've used that over here, in that she uses this gimmick of she looks and hits hard and gets out of that, and you watch her and you're like, oh, that's gonna smart.
Well, do yourself a favor. If you got some time before you head up to WrestleMania, I know this is not a Progress match. Just type in Rio ICW title match with Molly Spartan. Check that out. You will understand everything we just talked about Rio for the last 5 minutes in that match.
Yeah, absolutely. That was. Don't watch the rest of the card. No, but watch that match. Even though ICW have got their title on the right bloke at the moment, ICW, unfortunately, I think are a spent force. Mark Dallas has left. and he just known it. He sold it off, and I have a feeling most of their shows are now, their big shows of now, they can't sell the garage out in Glasgow, which is an awful shame. As I was at the Hydro shows of when there was 6,000-7,000 plus, and it's just a shame. But unfortunately, they're not getting it done. The British wrestling scandal hit them hard, and the only two companies that have really, really recovered from it are Progress and Red Pro were never really mentioned, and Red Pro just carried on. By the way, watch Will Ospreay's last indie match in the UK with their world champion Michael Oku. If you've not seen Michael Oku, he's one hell of a hand. You'll be seeing him soon in the States, American listeners, viewers. You'll be seeing him soon in the States, absolutely no doubt about it. Because Tony sat and watched that match with Orange and Derby, I believe, at the time. And they were all, you could see, they kept cutting back to them. You could see that they were, well, understandably impressed.
Well, David, thank you for coming on here and helping me to preview this Progress Chapter 166, Freedom Walks Again. You can catch it on Thriller TV this Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. British Summer Time. Thank you to Progress for tweeting out my tweets when I announced we were going to do this preview. I just want to support Progress, and it's been a good product. It got me through the pandemic, and really, it gave me something to talk about David on our podcast many, many times. So, David, everybody, until we see you next time, stay stunning.
Bye, everyone.